I'd like to bring the Morganton City Council back to order October 5th, 2015. At this time, I'll call on Forrest Fleming, City Councilman, to lead us with our Pledge of Allegiance.
Join with me, if you will. Say the pledge to our flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you much. Have a seat.
We have the Reverend Charlotte Brindle of the Associate Pastor at the First United Methodist Church to lead us with our invocation. Thank you for coming back.
Let us pray. God of all the nations, giver of life, we thank you that you are our source of strength and the hope of our tomorrows. Thank you for the possibilities of each new day and for the opportunities to be good stewards of the gifts you give us. Bless now our leaders who gather in this place. Give the gifts of discernment, give the gifts of wisdom, and give the gifts of vision. Grant patience and gentleness of cooperation in leadership. Grant clarity of word and thought in debate and discussion. And grant generosity and kindness in making decisions. Almighty God, keep before us the broken pieces of our community, places of despair and disappointment. Open our ears to hear the cry of the poor, and open our eyes to see the deepest needs of others. May you set our hearts to beat in rhythm with your heart, O God. May our community be known as people of goodwill, a place of hope, a place of peace and encouragement. Renew our leaders with your refreshing spirit tonight. Guide them, protect them, and keep them safe. May all that is said and done build up one another and be pleasing to you. O God, with a grateful heart, we offer you this prayer. Amen.
Thank you, Pastor. Introduction of our City Council. On my far right is Ronnie Thompson, Councilman, Forrest Fleming, City Councilman, Louis V. Nye, our City Attorney. I'm Mel Coyne, your Mayor, Sally Sandy, City Manager, Sidney Simmons, City Councilman, John Cantrell, City Councilman, Kelly Russell is our Recording Secretary, and Becky Brinkley is interpreting for our deaf community. Again, I want to thank everyone for being here tonight. We have a retiree resolution, and I want to read it, and Terry, you can come toward the microphone if you wish. The checks I know are more important than me reading the resolution. But, resolution honoring Terry Mangum. Whereas Terry L. Mangum was employed by the City of Morganton as a public safety officer in the Public Safety Department on September 8th, 1987, promoted to Public Safety Officer 2 on June 17th, 1996, reclassified as Public Safety Officer Special Assignment on July 1, 2004. And whereas Terry L. Mangum has faithfully served the City of Morganton in the Public Safety Department, has given his time and efforts for the benefit of the citizens of Morganton for 30 years. And whereas Terry L. Mangum retired from the City of Morganton as a Public Safety Officer, Special Assignment in the Public Safety Department on October 1, 2015. And whereas the Morganton City Council wishes to officially recognize the contributions of Terry L. Mangum and express their appreciation for a job well done. Now therefore be it resolved by the City of Morganton that the Mayor present this resolution. Terry L. Mangum adopted this the 5th day of October 2015. Mel Coyne, Mayor. Sally Sandy, City Clerk. Take this in the form of a motion.
Second.
I have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Terry? It's good to see somebody work 30 years. I'm telling you. That's amazing. I want to wish you well.
Thank you very much, sir.
And there's that. And you're willing, and if you're willing to, you can say anything you'd like.
I'd just like to thank the city for my career. I sat down the other day and I said, am I old enough to retire? And my daughter said, yep, you're old. But thank you, each and every one. I won't miss the job with the stress anymore, but I will dearly miss the people. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, consider award of the service weapon, make it in the form of a motion.
Second.
Motion second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Got a dollar over there, Sally? Yeah,
My
okay.
pleasure.
Thank you.
Chief?
Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Public advocacy issues and strategies. I'd like to first say that we are very fortunate that the North Carolina General Assembly has passed and the governor has signed a bill calling for a statewide referendum on March 15th, 2016, at which voters will decide whether to authorize a state to issue $2 billion in bonds for a variety of infrastructure improvements. The referendum would coincide with the state office and the presidential preference primary elections. Special projects, and listen to these, are very, very important. $58 million for the North Carolina School of Technology and Engineering, part of the North Carolina School of Science and Math. That would be for this area, this community, and this county. Very important. $23 million for the National Guard Readiness Center at Old Foothills Correctional Facility, also very important. $5,099,000 for the Western Piedmont Community College, $3,021,000 for the Lake James State Park, $2,250,000 for the South Mountain State Park, and $309 million for water and sewer loans and grants to local governments. Again, this is a very important bond referendum. We need to tell our friends and neighbors to go out and vote for it in March of next year, 2016. Also, I want to thank our city for being prepared for the storm. Unfortunately, it didn't materialize anywhere near as bad as it was advertised and talked about, but from Scott going through and making sure that our storm drains were clear, and all of our wastewater people watching. I was in Asheville on Saturday and water bubbling up in the manhole covers. We didn't have any of that. We were very fortunate. Public safety out there watching everything for us. And electric guys, did we have any electric outages?
No, sir.
No? Okay, that's amazing in itself. Again, that was, I want to thank everybody involved in the city of Morganton. Upcoming events, the Live and Let Die, October 15th. Farmers Market continues with the Wednesday mini market on North Green and the Saturday market behind the Morganton station. October oyster outing, Saturday, October 17th, 2 to 8. Downtown ghost tours, 2 weekends, October 23rd, 24th, and October 30 and 31. Downtown Halloween Spooktacular, Friday, October 30th, 3 to 6. Spooky Meadows, October 30th to 31 at Catawba Meadows Park from 7 a.m. till 11 p.m. 7 p.m., sorry. 7 p.m. till 11 p.m. All very important things for children and adults. We need to partake because our departments are really doing a good job of having things for everybody during that Halloween. Now, proclamation.
Can we do Sanja first?
Yeah, Sally.
First, interruption. I would like to introduce to everyone our new Assistant City Manager, Sanja Marston, who is with us, and I'm looking very forward to the community getting to know her and getting to work with her, and I welcome her.
Welcome, Sandra.
Stand up. Need to come over.
Okay, proclamation on Fire Prevention Month. Brooks, y'all.
No, fire prevention.
Oh, fire prevention, I'm
Captain
sorry.
Campbell.
What am I thinking about? Yeah. Resolution, Captain John. There you are. Resolution promoting Public Power Week. God almighty. No, fire prevention. Okay. Whereas the city of Morganton is committed to ensuring the safety and security of all those living in and visiting our city. And whereas fire is a serious public safety concern, both locally and nationally, and homes are the locations where people are at the greatest risk for fire. And whereas nearly 3,000 people die each year as a result of home fires. And whereas unattended cooking appliances are the leading cause of home structure fires and associated injuries, and the third leading cause of home fire deaths. And whereas working smoke alarms cut the risk of dying in reported home fires in half. And whereas the National Fire Protection Association recommends at least one smoke alarm on every level of the home, including the basement, outside all sleeping areas, and in all bedrooms. And whereas automatic fire sprinkler systems cut the risk of dying in a home fire by about 80%. And whereas the City of Morganton Public Safety Department is dedicated to reducing the occurrence of home fires and home fire injuries through prevention and proper education. And whereas the City of Morganton's residents are responsive to public education measures and are able to take personal steps to increase their safety from fire, especially in their homes. And whereas residents have planned and practiced a home fire escape plan, are more prepared, and will therefore be more likely to survive a fire. And whereas the 2015 Fire Prevention Week theme, Hear the Beep Where You Sleep, effectively serves to remind us that all of the simple actions we can take to keep our homes and families safe from fire during Fire Protection Week and year-round. Therefore, I, Mel Cohen, Mayor of the City of Morganton, do hereby proclaim October as Fire Prevention Month throughout the city, and I urge all people of Morganton to protect their homes and families by heeding the important messages of Fire Protection Month 2015, adopted this the 5th day of October 2015. Mel Cohen, Mayor. Sally Sandy, City Clerk. Form of a motion, guys.
Second.
Here, second.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
John, you're on.
I just want to take one moment to talk about the theme, Hear the Beep Where You Sleep. It's extremely important that every resident in the city, in the county, in the state, have a smoke detector in the home. It's extremely vital. This really means a lot. We appreciate the opportunity. We appreciate you doing this proclamation for us. Our fire engineers are extremely busy this week doing fire prevention events everywhere in the city, and they're going to be out. So they're out about visiting schools, daycares, churches, and everywhere that we've been invited to. And we appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you, John. Appreciate it.
Mayor, I have a question for the captain.
Yes, sir.
In the proclamation, it says that working smoke alarms cut the accidents by half.
Yes, sir.
Are there programs where people can get working smoke alarms?
Yes, sir, there is. In conjunction with the Burke County Fire Marshal, and they work in concert with the Office of State Fire Marshal. There are currently some smoke detectors available. People will need to contact me at my office, and I will work in concert with the county, and we can secure those smoke detectors and make sure that those get placed in those homes that need them.
So
And
those
it'll be on a first come, first served basis as long as they're available.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate
Okay,
it.
thank you, John. Okay, now, public power.
Yes.
Accepted by Brooks, y'all can come up front. Resolution promoting Public Power Week, October 4 through 10, 2015. Whereas North Carolina's public power communities are 1.2 million strong, power North Carolina with safe and reliable electricity. Whereas the City of Morganton is one of North Carolina's more than 70 public power cities and towns, and among more than 2,000 across this great country. Whereas public power is a crucial component in cities and towns across North Carolina, contributing to the overall health of communities by providing reliable electricity, excellent local service, and prompt restoration. Whereas public power is focused on our customers and neighbors and provides a voice to everyone who lives in public power community. Whereas public power communities work together by sharing knowledge and lending a helping hand after storms and outages. Whereas North Carolina's public power utilities are a valuable community asset that contribute to the well-being of the community and provide economic development opportunities, and now therefore be it resolved that the week of October 4 through 10, Public Power Week is declared a week to promote North Carolina's public power cities and towns for their contributions to their communities, superior reliability, and commitment to service. Adopted this the 5th day of October, 2015. Mel Cohen, Mayor. Sally Sandy, City Clerk.
Move to
Form of
adopt.
motion. I want to tell you, Brooks, you've got, all in favor say aye, by the way.
Aye.
You've got a table set up out there. You're going to tell us a little bit about it, but
Yes.
no one can appreciate being a Electric City public power community than I do, because we've come through Hugo and all kinds when we got our electricity on in 6 hours compared to 6 days out in Camelot and all. People in this community really appreciate it. And thank you for what you do. I'm gonna bring this to you, and you go ahead.
Public Power Week is a recognition of the hard work of the people, and it's the people employed by the city. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. People employed by the city, the crews that make it happen. I'm just one of the little paper pushers in City Hall that help provide the funds, help provide the training and the guidance. And it's also the city council and the mayor and the city manager who provide those funds so we can do our job. I just want to thank you also. Most of all, I want to thank the crews for the hard work they do. We was on call, on alert this whole weekend. Thank goodness the storm passed us, but I hate it hit South Carolina like it has. But we stand by. If people down in South Carolina need help, we can send a crew or two down there. But Public Power Week, this city's been in public power since 1899, and as such, Lord willing, will be here another 100 years. We have a table set up front all week, and come by and get refreshments for the citizens and electrical customers of the city of Morganton. We have drawings for energy kits. We also have drawings for free energy audits for the customers who wish to try to save on their power bill. And then I'd again like to thank you, the council, for your support.
Thank you, Brooks. Thank all your guys, please.
Yes, sir.
Any questions of Brooks first? Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Now you want to invite David. Brooks
You
needs to
want
stay
to
there.
invite your,
Yeah, Brooks, you might want to stay up here.
Yeah. Okay, Electric City, this will be Electric City's Safety Awards given by David Young, Jr.
Not really, this is Jeff.
Jeff, okay.
Mayor, council members, special guest. My name is Jeff Vaughn. I work with Electric Cities of North Carolina. I'm a senior safety and training specialist, and I work the western half of the state. David Young normally handles this, but I get the honor this year, and I got to say this, wow, Public Power Week, and I get to speak, so it's great. You guys have a beautiful community here. It's a great area. I don't live too far down the road, so. But what I do, my role at Electric Cities is, again, in safety and training. I teach the apprenticeship program. I work with the young linemen all the way through the seasoned line workers to make sure that they get through their daily skills without injuries or fatalities. What I'm here for is to celebrate and recognize Morganton and their elected department on their 2014 No Lost Time Accident Award. It's very few across the state get this. That means that they had no lost time reported accidents for the year of 2014. What does that mean? That means they went out there and they done their daily job as they should. They done it safely. You talked about storms a minute ago. Storms highlighted, you would think increased injury, but again, they come through the storms, no accidents. It's a group you should be proud of, and by your speech a minute ago, I think you are. And I'd like to take this moment to present this award to Brooks for, on behalf of Electric Cities, recognize his department for no lost time accidents in 2014.
Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you, Brooks.
Have a safe trip back, Jeff.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Again, it's not me, it's the crews and the departments that have done this. And I'm very proud to accept it for the city. Very humble for my crews who have actually doing the work.
Thank you
Very
Brooks.
much.
Appreciate it. Municipal Power Agency, Sally.
There will be elections in November. Nominees are due by October 15th, and we will get those to you as soon as we have them.
Okay, consent agenda, Sally.
The consent agenda before you tonight actually includes 4 individual items. Consider those to be non-controversial. Would ask that you approve them in one motion unless somebody wants an item discussed separately. For those of you viewing at home, those items are the regular meeting minutes from September the 14th, tax releases in the amount of $1,425.40, a budget amendment to Burke Arts Council to assist with the funding of the new mural that has been painted on their facility. And then the approval of the actual grant agreement for the $25,000 from the North Carolina Main Street Solutions Fund program for the grant that we have made available to Avery Avenue Partners.
Move to approve the consent agenda.
Okay, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, new business, consideration of a grant award of entitlement funds to nonprofits. Sally.
And we have Lisa here tonight. You know, part of our CDBG funding is an annual amount that we make available to local nonprofits so that they can apply for funding to help them in their mission.
Good evening. This year, we had available $22,195 for our grants to nonprofits. We had 3 applications, and those were accepted on September 14th. Staff ranked those, and we recommend these 3 for your award. Options for $10,000 for repairs to the shelter and their assistance to clients for housing deposits. The House of Refuge, $7,500. This is the emergency shelter for the men, and this is for the operation of their shelter. The Salvation Army, $4,695, and this is for their crisis assistance program for residents of Morganton.
I move to award the FY 2015 entitlement funds to nonprofits as recommended.
Second. Motion second, discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, thank you, Lisa.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Consideration of contracts with the Western Piedmont Council of Governments and corresponding budget amendments for the building reuse and restoration grants, program development grants. Sally.
Okay, you will recall that back in the spring, we were fortunate enough to have 2 industry announcements, and in both of those cases, you gave the permission for us to apply, and we did receive grant monies from the North Carolina Department of Commerce to support both of those as they revamp and add on to existing buildings and to take an empty building and put it to use. Now that we have moved into that, both of those companies are doing those improvements. We need to set up the budget for that. The first is American Hospitality Furnishings. That's a $212,500 grant. Requires 17 full-time jobs for them to qualify. The project is in the old Drexel building, and it is for making high-end hospitality furniture. Improvements are underway. They are looking to hire 71 new employees during the first year. So we need to set up that. The local match is $10,625. That will be shared equally between the city and the county. Additionally, we contract with the Western Piedmont Council of Governments to administer those grants, and that's what that local share administration goes for. So we need to approve the contract with the COG.
I make a motion to approve the contract between Western Piedmont Council of Governments and the city for the provision of administrative assistance concerning a North Carolina Department of Commerce Rural Economic Development Division, America Hospitality Furnishings LLC DBA 10 Hogan Building Reuse Grant.
Second.
Motion second, discussion.
It's a mouthful, isn't it?
Two mouth.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, got one.
And then there are 2 budget amendments that go with that.
Okay,
I move we approve a budget amendment in the amount of $223,125 to appropriate funds for a rural center building reuse grant project with American Hospitality Furnishings.
Second.
motion second, discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay,
Make a motion to approve a budget amendment in the amount of $5,313 to appropriate reimbursement from Burke County for half of the administration fees to administer the American Hospitality Furnishings Grant.
Second.
a motion second, discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, Sally, next.
Okay, the second project is Durley Fabrics, and that's on Hopewell Road. They are moving their operations from New York to Morganton. The grant is for $410,000, requires 41 full-time positions. However, they plan to hire 77 new employees. The local match is $20,500, and again, that will be shared between Burke County and the city of Morganton.
Make a motion to approve the contract between Western Piedmont Council of Governments and the city for the provision of administrative assistance concerning a North Carolina Department of Commerce Rural Economic Development Division Building Reuse Grant for Durley Fabrics Limited and Durley Fine Furniture Incorporated.
Second.
Motion second, discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Move to approve a budget amendment in the amount of $430,500 to appropriate the funds for a rural center, a building reuse grant project with the Durley Fabrics Limited.
Second.
Motion second, discussion.
Okay, Sid, your time.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion to approve a budget amendment in the amount of $10,250 to appropriate reimbursement from Burke County for half of the administration fees to administer the Durley Fabrics Limited Grant.
Second.
Motion second, discussion. All in favor say aye. Okay. All right. Consideration of award of contract for the design of wastewater aeration process conversion. Sally.
That's also a mouthful. Earlier this afternoon, you had the opportunity to sit in a work session in talking about this project. You know that we have been in the process of looking forward to how we would convert our wastewater treatment process from an oxygen system to a more traditional waste treatment plant process. And this is the next step in that. You'll recall that currently we are using liquid oxygen at the plant, and we are operating with some equipment that is not functioning as it should, but we are holding our own. We are in the process of completing an interim fix to that you appropriated funds for back in the spring, and that is underway and should be completed soon. This is the second step of that, and this is the long-term project. We are looking at a solution that will take us from using oxygen to the traditional treatment. You had the presentation of that from the engineers working on this project at 4 o'clock today. Freese and Nichols are doing that work for us. Would ask that you consider tonight approving an engineering design contract with them for $621,170. That will allow them to begin the design on this project. That is probably about a 9 or 10 month process, and the total project to completion would start now basically and go until sometime in the fall of 2018. You did adopt a reimbursement resolution back in June that will give us the opportunity, once the project is designed, we go to bids and secure financing, we can reimburse ourselves these dollars and charge them over the life of the project.
Make a motion to approve and authorize a task authorization from Freese and Nichols to complete a wastewater process conversion design in the amount of $621,170.
Second.
Motion second, discussion. All in favor say aye. Opposed? Okay, consideration of an agreement to modify small business loan agreement for Avery Avenue Partners. Sally.
Okay, I
So
think
that's
Louis is
mine.
gonna
That's
take
yours.
this one.
I believe so, thank you. You'll recall that, well, in fact, we just addressed this in connection with the COG authorizations, that back in the spring, council approved a small business loan agreement with Avery Avenue Partners and Food Matters Market, which of course, the project, as you know, is underway to renovate the old, what we call the old Harris Teeter building for Food Matters Market, the loan being in the amount of $75,000. And I would note that Mr. Norville is here tonight on behalf of Avery Avenue Partners. That loan agreement provided that through the month of September, the monthly repayment would be interest only, and that it would begin payment of interest and principal in October for a total of 110 monthly payments, just over 9 years. At the time, it was anticipated by all parties that the store would hopefully be open and therefore be paying rent by around October of this year. Obviously, for a variety of reasons, they're running a bit behind. It's now hoped that the store would be open by December. Avery Avenue Partners has therefore requested that the city consider modifying the terms of the loan agreement to extend the interest-only payments through December and begin the full payments in January. Let me emphasize, this would involve no change of the payments. There would still be 110 full payments of principal and interest in exactly the same amount. You're just moving those payments 3 months to the right. And since that wouldn't have any negative effect on the payments, the city staff recommends approval of the request.
I
Yeah, I
move we
moved in.
enter into an agreement to modify small business loan agreement with Avery Avenue Partners dated April 6, 2015.
Second.
Motion second. Discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Consideration of amendment to the animal control ordinance. Sally?
I
Or you?
believe this is also Louis.
Louis.
This one's mine, Mr. Mayor. At the last meeting, you'll recall that you instructed me to, and with staff, to draft and present to you some proposed amendments to our animal control ordinance. This being after we heard from quite a number of citizens, specifically concerning one animal, but raising questions about our ordinance, which has been in place basically since about 1999 with very little change. What has been presented to you and what you have before you are a number of proposed amendments to what is Chapter 8 of Part 9 of our code, mostly concerning the section on wild or exotic animals, which is Section 8-2028. And let me take this opportunity to note that the ordinance, our Code of Ordinances, of course, is available online by link from the city website. And also note that if amendments are made, it sometimes takes a few weeks before those show up online. In any event, the proposed changes would allow the keeping of certain smaller, what we would call wild or exotic animals, animals which are normally not domesticated and not native to this area. In particular, mammals, most mammals of less than 40 pounds at adulthood, primates of less than 15 pounds, birds of less than 15 pounds, and non-venomous snakes less than 6 feet long would be allowed if the owner first obtained a permit from the Department of Public Safety, for which there would be no cost. The permit would document the presence of these animals, would require that the owner state where the animal's kept, describe the animal, its species, its size, that sort of thing, and require the owner to affirm legal and financial responsibility for their animal. We would also be reiterating and slightly modifying our ordinance on dangerous animals, making clear that applies to any animal, not just dangerous dogs. In addition to those matters that came up from the last meeting, staff felt that it was time to perhaps update our ordinance to reflect changing social or popular standards, if you will, and we made two particular changes. One was to allow, since these seem to be quite popular, the keeping of a single miniature pot-bellied pig as a pet, and also, in accordance with the change we made in our zoning ordinance when we adopted the zoning ordinance last year, to allow a limited keeping of chickens, hens, for purposes of eggs, fresh eggs, up to 5 of those. Again, provided on all these cases that the lots meet the standards of the zoning ordinance.
I make a motion to adopt the ordinance amending the City of Morganton's Animal Control Ordinance, Chapter 8 of Part 9, by adopting amended sections 8-2005, 8-2028, 8-2029, 8-2030, and 8-2041.
Second.
We have a motion. We have a second. Any discussion?
Question, Louis, is there any way that public safety, when they register, could take a picture of said animal? That way, if the animal was released, they would at least know what they're looking for.
Well, that's actually,
Yeah,
I
we
see the
can do
chief's nodding. I think that's probably a pretty good idea. I mean, the whole idea of the registration is to make sure we know where some of these animals are,
Right.
frankly, in case of emergencies or escapes, as you say. I think that'd be an excellent idea.
We can do that.
The other question, I know there's one particular mammal that people are interested in. I want to make sure that mammal does weigh less than 40 pounds. I think that's correct.
Should be.
That's correct.
Okay.
I believe the Freeds are nodding their head. And I would say, obviously, I had that in mind when I drafted that particular limit.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, at the end of the meeting, but Charlotte Magazine came up with a great article on Morganton. If you're a recipient of that Charlotte Magazine, you'll see a great, great article about our community and how well Morganton is received by other people. Anything from the council?
Mayor, I had one question concerning the Greenway. I know there's been some construction. Maybe the city manager could give us an update on the construction and when it would be, if at all possible, when it would be completed.
I can. Last week, put a kink in completing a lot of projects that are going on, and if you've driven around town, you realize that you really can't go almost anywhere without hitting a resurfacing project of some kind, and the Greenway is actually one of those. What is going to happen with the Greenway? The largest part of the project is complete. They are doing some finishing work now and just a little bit to be done. There's a small leg of the trail at Judges, and then around the trail, around by where the bathrooms are located at the soccer complex. And those should be in process this week to get complete. They should be doing prep work tomorrow, which is the 6th, right? October 6th, yes. Tomorrow. And so by Wednesday or Thursday, we hope to be complete with that. There's also a couple of things that were damaged during the work out there. One of those is a bench, and that is all being repaired, but those are happening in the next couple of days. Tell you a little bit about the other resurfacing. We expect that DOT will begin tomorrow or Wednesday at the latest with their paving back on Avery Avenue, and that should be from Kirksey Drive, Sanford Drive intersection all the way up to this Bushell Street intersection. I know there are a lot of potholes and things out there where they have scraped up and milled and done some of that. Hopefully they'll be back on that this week, and then that will get complete very soon. The other thing, the city's project, which is going on the opposite legs of Bushell Street, contractor was supposed to start last week doing the concrete work and doing the islands and that sort of thing. Obviously, that did not happen. We anticipate now they are on a job. They should be starting that next week. Then that should get complete, and then the paving will come along after that on that section.
Very good. Any other?
Yeah, I want to make one comment. I'd like to thank the city staff, in particular Scott Luckadoo, and I thank Jim Pless for all of their great work that they did for beautification of our city. In particular, all those beautiful flower beds and shrubs that we saw scattered out all over the city during the course of this summer. They were just beautiful. Scott, y'all did a super job on that, and I thank you so much.
And I reiterate that first. My 13-year-old told me sitting at the stoplight at the post office, the new post office, one morning how beautiful that looked over there. And if a 13-year-old notices, then it must look pretty good. A 13-year-old boy.
One last thing, we're going to lose our reporter. I think today's his last session. He's leaving Wednesday, and I just want to thank him for great coverage. I think he covers us fairly. We hate to train a new one, but he's done a good job.
Yep.
Thank you, Glenn.
Thanks, Glenn.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We do hate to train a new one. We do.
Enjoy Columbia in its position right now.
Yeah.
Okay, one thing I'll mention to you is that Ronnie and I and Sally and Louis, we were all at the over at Judges on Thursday for the Revolutionary Crossing of Catawba River, an amazing event. It was phenomenal. Historic Burke and its director did an absolute great job. Bryant Lindsay and Linda put a lot of it together with Mary Furr. I mean, it's the organization that they had, and coming across the river was absolutely unbelievable. And if you didn't see it, you missed something great. Hopefully it'll be on Channel 2 because I believe Chad filmed
He
it.
did.
So
He did.
watch it on Channel 2. Again, the meeting's adjourned. Thank you.
That's a good point.
Well, I thought for a minute we were all in trouble.